The United States embarked on its largest investment to combat the climate crisis when the House passed Biden's Build Back Better bill. More than $500 billion will go towards renewable energy and manufacturing electric vehicles. But how the materials necessary for electric vehicles are sourced has a human toll outside the U.S. in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The key metal used to make electric batteries, cobalt, has largely been found in Congo. Last year, the country generated 70% of the world's cobalt for electric vehicles manufactured like Tesla and Volkswagen. According to the New York Times report, the search for cobalt has rapidly transformed the metal into the world's newest blood diamond. While Chinese corporations run and operate high-tech industrial mines, thousands of Congolese adults and children are working in informal and often dangerous makeshift mines. The Times noted a number of children recently died after climbing into a narrow mine dozens of feet underground. Miners make as little as $10 a day, while some villages are completely stripped of their natural resources. Joining me now by phone is one of the New York Times reporters responsible for that story, Eric Lipton. Eric, this is just a fascinating story. Tell us about, the architecture around the mining of cobalt in the Congo. Who's making the money? If the workers are not really making a lot of money, there's a huge amount of money being thrown at this mineral. Where's that money going?
The money goes to the industrial scale mines that owned by companies like China Malaband and Glencore that have these massive mines that are the largest sources of cobalt in the world. I mean, a single mine of the Glencore or China Malaband scale produced more cobalt than any other nation in the world. But on the margins around those mines, there are thousands of people who are quite poor that live in Congo, and they're often their children that are scouring the land collecting rocks of ore that have cobalt and copper in them, and then they sell this cobalt and copper in these informal along the side of the road. There are these vendors that buy it by the bag and pay them very little money for it, and then they make a profit by reselling it into the industrial system. So much of the money is essentially the profits are being taken overseas and not in Congo itself.
So what are companies like Tesla or Volkswagen doing to ensure that they are not buying cobalt that is coming from unsafe practices?
Well, I mean, a company like Tesla is buying most of its cobalt in Congo from Glencore, and what they're doing is trying to make sure that they're only getting the cobalt that comes directly from the industrial scale mine, which has Western standards in terms of the way that employees are treated and the safety of the employees. And so their answer is to make sure that they are not procuring the artisanal, which is the informal mining. I mean, the problem is that, while for our standards it sounds like this artisanal mining is dangerous, and it is dangerous, and it is bad that there are children involved, to some extent it is a means of labor and income for families there. So the real challenge is to figure out a way to allow artisanal mining to occur in a way that's not life-threatening to the people involved, and to expand the income base that's necessary, that's going to be produced by this enormous demand for minerals. I mean, the thing that's so interesting about this topic and so relevant for everyone in the United States and around the world is that the whole geopolitics of the fueling our vehicles is radically changing right now before our eyes in a pace that just is hard to comprehend. The fossil fuel geopolitical world is being upended, and a world dominated by where are the minerals, who controls the minerals, who controls those supply chains. That's becoming a new geopolitical reality that is going to upend a lot of what our whole system has been built upon since World War II.
Yeah, I mean, I understand this idea that this is a source of income, but is the government responsible in any way to ensure that child labor is not part of any source of this mineral coming into this country? Are there any safeguards in the Build Back Better plan to ensure that even if it's artisanal, it's not being produced by child labor, which I think is a standard that is used in other forms of labor?
Yeah, I mean, child labor is illegal in Congo as well. And the industrial scale mines like China Molybden and Glencore, they're working with groups like the Fair Trade Alliance, which is attempting to institutionalize artisanal mining to, prohibit and make sure that there's enforcement to prevent children from working in the artisanal, sector, and also to try to get better safety standards for those informal miners that are working. It's a very, very challenging landscape, and the government of Congo doesn't really have the capacity to, effectively regulate it across the board.
Right. Eric Lipton, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a fascinating story, and thank you for your time.